Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to our Monday night call. Tonight, we have a very special guest. I'm so honored to be able to introduce my sponsor and my friend, Phallin Reeb. And so just so you know, whenever I met Phallin, was it like 10 years ago, Phallin? She came to my dad was a pastor in this little tiny little church, like way out in the middle of nowhere. And she came and visited our church, stuck out like a sore thumb because the church was very small. And I could tell she was a homeschooler from a mile away. So I was really interested to get to know her because I also was a homeschooler with a lot of kids. She had 5 kids, I had 5 kids, we both homeschooled. And I just was so interested right away. There wasn't many people who lived way out in the country where I lived who were like me. And so we just struck up a friendship right away and kept in touch on social media because she didn't really leave her house at all because apparently she was scared of germs. So, and I found out that's a real thing. But anyways, I've learned so much from her since the day I met her. And I think that's probably why I've always loved her so much, because I love being around people that I can learn from and also who make me laugh, because she's super smart, super funny, and she's always learning like I am, but sometimes she'll learn different things than I learn. And so I just have always been intrigued by her. So anyway, she started this business. And I had already learned a ton from her about natural health and things like that. She posted on Facebook one day about some natural supplement that was going to help you lose weight. And she didn't say she was selling it. She just posted like an article about it. And I was like, is this legit? What do you think about this? And she's like, yeah, it's legit. What do you think about it? I'm like, well, I think I want to try it. So I was one of her first customers. Anyway, the rest is history. Here we are. We've learned a ton together, and definitely one of my closest friends in the whole world. So excited for you guys to hear from her tonight. You all are going to love her as much as I do. Phallin, take it away, and I'm going to ask you some questions at the end.
All right, girl. Thank you for that fun intro. I am still the same me. I just have more money, but definitely.
Okay, you are a little glitchy now, Phal.
At least still. That's going to give me anxiety, you guys. How do I make it not glitch?
I don't know. Is there a spot in your house that has a stronger signal or no?
I'm sitting right by it. Let me try to take this protector thing off it. Hopefully it's okay. Is it better? Is it any better?
I think so.
That means it's not.
Yeah, it is. I think it is. You're not glitching now.
All right, you guys. I already told my husband, unplug all the cameras. Don't use the internet.
Okay, I think it's good. I think it's good. Go ahead.
Perfect. All right, you guys. So I am going to share my story, but a little differently because I think most of you have heard it. But I was just thinking about my life and my journey, and I think of myself as just a normal person. I don't really feel like I have anything special. I don't really feel like I have any extra grit or work ethic or just anything. I just feel normal. I would actually think of myself as someone who just likes to sit and watch my chickens or just hold my baby and pray that time slows down for about 5 seconds. That's just who I am. But then I think about this business that I have built that has allowed me the freedom to be able to live the life that I want, to be able to just go sit on the field in my 100 acres, put my feet up and watch my chickens. And I can't believe I'm even saying that, but that is what I like to do. And I am able to do that whenever I want to, because I can work from my phone and I can sit there and I can send messages, or I can put my phone to the side and not work. And I have that freedom, but I have that freedom because I do have grit. I have determination. I have a very strong work ethic because I did the work when I wasn't getting results. For 2 years, I I worked and I didn't see any success in what I wanted. I didn't see any results of getting closer to diamond. I was losing people as quick as I was getting them. They were constantly quitting the products. Brittany was one of my first workers. She quit halfway to gold. I was just losing all of my silvers. My mom didn't want to work. My sister didn't want to work. Nobody wanted to do anything, but I kept going. I kept putting in full-time hours every single day, except for one day a week. And that was on Friday, because I was giving my kids one whole day of my undivided attention because I was busy. I was working, but I knew that it was worth it. When I would get frustrated, Lori, my sponsor, Lori Welch, would say, go put your phone in a drawer and just leave it for the whole day. I would come back after an hour. Like, I could not work. Like, I literally just needed 5 seconds to clear my brain. And I don't know a lot of people who are willing to do the things when nothing is happening in their business. But this is so important if you want to be successful, because everybody can be a diamond. They literally just have to decide to not give up. And so I would hear those things. I would hear Sonia, I would hear Helen, I would hear all of these people way up in my upline who were diamonds say these things, and I believed it. So I would hold on to it. I was eating, sleeping, breathing plexus for 2 years when I wasn't going anywhere. I was stuck at gold. I finally did get to gold because I bought like 3 orders, begged a couple people to order. So my true points were probably at its highest 75 points, but I ended up losing a whole bunch of those and fell back down to 50 points. Of course, when Brittany quit, then that cost me a whole bunch of points too. So I lost all those points and I just sat there in my points, but I kept working. I kept doing the things. I was so hungry for what this opportunity offered. I was so hungry to make that paycheck. I was hungry for diamond. And when I heard one person say anybody can be a diamond, that went straight into my head. Anybody can be a diamond. Anybody can be a diamond. Like, I would just tell myself these things over and over and over again until I believed them. And maybe that's why my family thought I was crazy, because I probably was. I was crazy to be successful. I'd never heard of any other opportunity that could give you this kind of paycheck working from home. I didn't have to leave my house. This was amazing. I had tried selling menstrual cups online. I had tried selling crochet hats. My fingers started to feel like I was getting arthritis. I was only 25 years old when I was doing that. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is not for me. I'm not going to make any money doing that. I might make a few bucks to pay for Christmas presents, but I don't want that. I want to be able to pay my bills. I want $4,000 a month. That's all I needed to be able to live off of, take care of my 5 kids. And I felt like I'd be doing good. So that is what I wanted. But along the way, when I heard stories of network marketers who were selling soap out of their trunks in their car, and then they were millionaires, or just all of these $1 million earner stories that Eric Worre had on his CDs. I think you can still get them. They're probably on eBay now, but I would put them in the car anytime we went somewhere, and my kids would beg to listen to it. They loved to hear these stories too, but I was constantly feeding my mind with all of this positive, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And I had decided that I was going to do it because that was all that my mind was hearing. So as my mind was hearing all of these positive things, I was putting in the work every day. I didn't get tired of it because Lori told me that I was on an Easter egg hunt and I was just looking for the golden eggs. Most of them won't be golden eggs, but some of them will. And those will be the ones that will get me to diamond. So I just kept doing the things and trusting the process. And I didn't worry, oh my gosh, my sidelines are emerald and I'm still gold, or what does that person think about me after I posted that? And why hasn't she joined me? I wasn't thinking about all that stuff. I was just going through doing the things with excitement. That is the biggest thing that you can have, is constantly being excited about where you are going and what you are doing. And that is going to be contagious. So I was going to the top and I didn't care who believed me, because nobody did except for my kids. Oh, yay, mommy, you're going to be on the stage. You're going to do that, mommy. I want to go. I want to see you on the stage, mommy. I was nowhere close to being anywhere near any sort of stage at all. And I still remember the day that Brittany Howard invited me over to her house to talk about the business. printed off everything. I was so excited, printed off the compensation plan. I had the pictures of the Lexuses and all the details of the compensation plan, every single thing. And we had the 5 points and the 4 points and the 3 points. And this is what you can build and do. And I put it in my 3-ring binder, sat down on her floor, and we looked at all of this stuff and had a discussion about why I was wearing skirts and stuff like that. And we just talked about everything. And her kids were there and they were doing their chores. And we probably talked about kids and doing chores and just normal things. And I remember I was just so excited. Well, Brittany was my first worker. And when I got to gold, she was halfway to gold. And eventually she had decided that it just wasn't worth it. It was too much. It was too much work, or it just wasn't paying what she wanted it to for it to be worth her effort, or for whatever reason, she decided she wasn't going to do it. So I was like, okay, see you later. We're still friends. We'd still talk. I'd do the laundry. I'd call Brittany. We were still great friends. I didn't even think anything of it. I just knew that she was smart. And when she saw my success, I knew that she was going to do this with me because I wanted her to. She was my friend. We were going to have fun together, but I didn't worry about where she was in that moment because I wasn't worried about what everyone else was doing. I was just worried about myself and where I was going. So as she was over there doing whatever she was doing, I was working and looking for more people and more people. And I went through the people and the people still weren't there. And I kept looking and I'd get some people to silver and then they would quit and all of the things. You know how this goes. This has happened to every one of us. But what happened over those 2 years, so about 18, I don't know, maybe a year after Brittany quit, I finally found all of my people who ended up being Jules. I recruited Tiffany. I had decided that I was going to share Plexus with every single person I came across. And so when I went to her house to buy a stroller from her, I knew I was going to share Plexus, and praise the Lord, that woman could talk. She talked and did not shut up for 3 hours. And I was cool with it because I was so nervous because I had committed to myself that I was going to share Plexus with every single person I met. And I knew that I was going to have to do it. I wasn't going to let myself out of it. I was going to do it. And she was the first person that I ran across that I was going to do that with. And so I did. And the rest is history. Obviously, she is a diamond on my team now, but that was in June of 2015 that I finally re-ranked or finally hit senior gold. So I re-ranked gold and hit senior gold all at once. And then 9 months after that, I was diamond and I had 5 jewels on my team, 3 of which were level 1s. And in 9 months, I did what I couldn't do in 2 years because all of the pieces just kind of came together. I don't know what it was. It literally felt like a light bulb went off. That was the only thing that I could think of, like turn the light on and suddenly everything just made sense. And the things that really made the most sense was that this was not about me anymore. This was about them and what they wanted. So I didn't look at my back office to stress about my points and just make people a number. I would look at my back office to see who had their subs off, or who was new, or who was working, or who hit silver. But it wasn't about me. When I hit senior gold, I was shocked. And my mind was even more blown that I had enough people that I was going to hit Ruby the very next month. And then senior Ruby the month after that. Emerald the very next month after that. Back to back rank ups. I had no idea what was happening. The more happened, the more excited I got. But the reason I was excited was because of what was going on for my people. I think Brittany started working again. I think I was Ruby, but she came back and I was excited to work with her. It was so different from the first time around where I was like, I need the money. I need the paycheck. I need this. I still did. I still needed all of those same things, but it wasn't about me anymore. I had read How to Win Friends and Influence People. I had read books on mindset shifts, Switch on Your Brain. I read John Maxwell's 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, and I read The Magic of Thinking Big. Those 5 books totally changed my life. They just changed my life, and I allowed the words on every page to change who I was for the better. And that's what personal growth will do to you. It's not just going through the motions and reading the books. You have to allow it to change who you are for the better. And you have to continue doing the action. You have to continue doing the IPA. I did not stop posting. I did not stop reaching out just to work on myself or to grow myself. You have to be able to put these things into practice. Nothing is going to come together if you're not out there doing the things and practicing the things every day. So I did that. And then let's see, I tried to stick to my notes. I just totally was not on them. But you guys, you know what to do. You have all of the tools and all of the things and so much knowledge. We didn't have any of that. We had a dial-in phone number, and Lori would be like, did you hear what Sonia just said? She's so excited. Brittany, did you get on the call? Like, it was so crazy. We'd be laying in bed, half asleep, like just sitting there on this call, and we'd hear the stories, we'd hear the testimonies, and we would get so pumped up about what the products were doing. Oh my gosh, I had no idea this could help someone with whatever their issue might be. Like, it was something new that we heard, and that was so exciting. We were just excited for where we were going. So you have to stop comparing yourself to everybody else out there. There's so much available now. It's so easy to compare yourself to who might be doing better or who might look like they're doing better. You don't see their back office, honey. I see some back offices and I see what they put out there. Some people be looking like they're doing better than they are. And you're comparing yourself to that because you see your back office and you want more from what you're seeing. So you get discouraged. Don't let it discourage you. You need to know where you're going, accept where you're at, but push yourself a little bit further. You need to wake up every single day with a smile on your face for where you are going, even if that is not what you have in front of you, even if your back office does not reflect what it is that you want to see or will see in the future. You have to believe that for yourself. And that's what we had. We had 2 Diamonds YouTube channels, and that's about it. We'd be like, oh, we love Sarah Marble, or, oh my gosh, did you hear what Sonia said? Like, that's what we had. You guys just need to focus on the relationships. That is one thing that has not changed and will not change and will never change, as well as showing up on social media, being vulnerable, being you, showing people your life, not comparing, feeling like you need to be like the person next to you, but being you. You need to set office hours and be intentional with your time. That is one of the biggest things that I see, is people who they're not intentional. They don't treat this like a business. You can't expect this to pay like a business if you're not going to treat it like a business. I treated this like a business before it was even a business for me. There was no team to lead. There was nothing really going on, but when babies were napping, mommy was working, and that's just the way that it was. When they went to bed at night, I was right here. I was doing the work. I got on my computer. I put my phone to the side. I wasn't going to get distracted by whoever was texting me, calling me, or whatever. It was my work hours, and I was serious about where I was going. So you need to set goals. Even if you're not attaining those goals today, knowing that you will in the future. So setting stretch goals for yourself. So a great goal for those of you who aren't Emerald yet is I want to be Emerald by July. Now I set that goal twice and I didn't hit it. And then that third time I did hit it, but I was growing. Setting those goals is not a bad thing. Even if you don't hit them right when you want to, you're still putting in the work to make it happen. And I really think that's how I ended up going to Diamond so fast when I did, because of all the work that I did underground, preparing for ranks that I didn't hit. I was working for Emerald, but didn't hit it. I was working for Emerald, but didn't hit it. And then I was working for Emerald, but suddenly I hit Diamond and had all these other jewels on my team. That's how it goes. So trusting the process and where you're going. So if you want to hit Emerald by July, you need 1,500 points. That's in 7 months. So you need to go up 214 points a month, which is 53 people. But if you have 3 workers, that's 17 people each. So breaking it down like that. And then that means you need to have conversations to get about that amount of joins a day. You want to talk to 10 people a day, just conversations. You don't have to bring up Plexus right away. you can if you feel led to, but maybe talk to them for a week or two, and then Plexus will come up. If you're posting and you're working on your attraction marketing, people will come to you. And that's my favorite way to grow this. But if they're not coming to you, do not be afraid to reach out. Be bold, be confident in what you have. And it really just comes from a rock solid belief of knowing what you have to offer people. You can boldly reach out and say, hey, this is what I have for you, if you believe in what it is that we are selling, because it's not about you. You're reaching out because it's about them, and they will sense that. And the reverse is true as well. If you're reaching out and it's all about you, they can sense that as well. So it's a very small flip of switching your mindset in that. This business is so simple. There are literally 8 things that you need to do. You need to post, you need to reach out, you need to follow up, you need to close. Then you get people results, you get them working, and then you develop leaders and teach them to do the same. That's it. And then you repeat that with every single person. You work it through your funnel. You post to them, you talk to them, you follow up, you close. So you get them signed up, and then you get them results, you get them workers. Like, you keep going through the same things. And that's what I love about this business, is how simple it is. So you need to learn to manage yourself as well. I really think that one of the things that I was so good at was productivity, just being productive. How did I manage 5 kids as a single mom, running a business, and not lose my mind and still wake up excited and happy to do the things? Because I could manage myself. I guess you can hire productivity coaches. I didn't do that. I just learned how to simplify things, making simple meals, cutting out all of the busy work. Don't waste time. Be super mindful. I just got off Gold Coaching and I was talking about this, but being super mindful of where we are wasting time. If people come to you and say, oh, I don't have time to work this business, if they have an iPhone, they can swipe right over, and they can look at how many hours they have spent on their phone. Ask for a screenshot of that. See how many people actually give it to you, because we waste so much time. And if you're trying to grow a business, just because you're on social media does not mean you're growing your business. Oh, I'm just scrolling, I'm getting ideas on things to post about. No, stop. I guarantee you, if you've been in this business for more than 6 months, you have enough ideas. Just start showing up. Learn the things, of course. Like I said, I was in my car, I was listening to the audio, Eric Worre, team calls, trainings, whatever I could get my hands on. I loved to learn all of the things, and I did not stop, like, ever. Any free moment, I would rather listen to that than kids bickering at the table. So at dinner, there was Sonia Dudley watching a training during dinner. But I learned that I could multitask on different things. While I was folding laundry, maybe I was watching a training. Those of you who work full-time jobs, being a mom, single mom, 5 kids is a full-time job. So I get it. I know we are all busy, but look for where you can fit in the time, because my husband probably hates this sentence because I say it a lot. If you do not run your day is going to run you. If you do not wake up with intentionality of where you are going, it can be intentional rest time. It's still intentional. If you're going to spend time with your kids, make it intentional. Don't just flip on a cartoon and say you're spending time with your kids, unless everybody's throwing up and that's what you need to do. But be intentional, talk with them, have conversations, make those 15 or 30 minutes with each kid count, make your business hours count. I remember watching a diamond say that she did not respond to any messages until she had wrote everybody that was on her list and made it all the way through and cleared out her inbox. And that's what I would do every Friday. I would make sure my inbox was totally cleared out and I wouldn't get distracted. There are so many distractions. You have to be intentional with what you're doing, because like I said, if you don't run your day is going to run you. So think of ways that you can simplify. Sometimes we do just enough to get by. And I think that is what pains me more than anything, is watching people do the things, but if they would do just a little bit more, y'all, maybe y'all don't know, but I love the Art Williams video, Just Do It. That was so motivating for me because it's so easy to find excuses, or my favorite is I'll do it tomorrow. Well, a week just went by and tomorrow never came. You kind of got to realize that life is busy and you need to just do it. How long does it take to pick up your husband's socks? I don't know, not very long. Just do it. Just get it done. How long does it take to send out 5 messages? Bam, done. Under 5 minutes. Just do the thing and stop overthinking it. And we just get so much more done when we don't do that. I'm talking to myself here too. So I have never felt stressed with my business or with my husband or with my kids or in a tizzy, or I don't have time to do this. I can't do this business. I don't have time, because I learned to manage myself. And I would really check your time. Write down in your planner what you are doing every hour of the day, and you will find time to actually grow your business. And you might have to get creative. My favorite thing to do with my kids is let's get creative. Where there's a will, there's a way. You think you can't make this happen? I'm going to show you how you can. And I love to train them on how to do that. And then the last thing is start every day with gratitude. And when I started my business, I didn't have money. We had no money for shoes. I was going to bed hungry. We were broke, but I learned in order to cope with all of that, I had to go to bed with thankfulness, and I would thank God, and I meant it. I wasn't just like, thank you, God, for the air conditioning. Like, I meant it, every bit of it. Even when I'm drinking water, I'm like, this is amazing. I am so thankful for everything that I can feel, everything I get to experience, this comfortable bed, the smile I shared today with my son, going to bed with gratefulness. If that's something that you struggle with, my favorite book, and I'm going to read it again this year, but I read it last year when I was really, really sick, is 1000 Gifts by Anne Voskamp. I don't know how to say her last name, but that book was life changing. And it really sets the tone for gratefulness in this business. We have been given a gift of this business, and you have the opportunity to do something with it. What you do with it is your choice, but it's going to start with gratitude. Gratitude for those 2 customers that you have. Gratitude that you get to work from your phone. Gratitude that you have a full-time job to go to, and that you can come home and continue to grow a dream for your family. Gratitude that you have kids that might feel like a distraction sometimes. I have always made it a point when my kids come to me and I'm working, I put my phone down to look them in the eyes and tell them whatever response they're needing. If they want validation or they want a hug, or usually it's just for me to say, that looks beautiful. I love it. You did a great job. Be there. Be grateful that you have them to pour your life into, and don't take this opportunity for granted. My business doubled in size 2 years ago. I was the #1 in the leaders retreat contest, #1 in convention contest. And that was a huge goal. Like, I had been busting my butt for years, hoping that someday I could be on the stage and I could be #1 in the convention contest. That was my biggest goal. Lo and behold, COVID happened and I did not get to go on the stage. I stood there, made a recording from my bedroom, and I was 7 months pregnant or something felt really pregnant. Maybe it was only 2 months. I don't know. I felt real pregnant, and I was so grateful though. It didn't look how I wanted it to. I wasn't in front of 100,000 people or whatever it would be. I think 17,000, but it feels like 100,000 people. And I was just thankful that my business could grow during the hardest time of my entire life. I was so sick, but the work that I did years before that, I didn't know that was going to be my life. And I would be in bed just so thankful, because I don't know how I would have worked any other job or how I would have taken care of my kids if it wasn't for Plexus, because I needed my husband there to take care of me and all of the kids. And thank God for this income, you guys. So do not take it for granted. You can all be diamonds, every single one of you. Do not give up. Do not quit. Wake up every day with gratitude and a smile that you get to do this. And yeah, that's all I got. I could keep going, but Brittany, I know you
And I
said
could keep listening. I could keep listening. I'm sure everybody on here totally could. Well, that was so good, Phallin. Everything you said was so, so good. Very, very inspiring. And it's really clear why you are where you are. So I have several comments to add, but also we got some good questions in the comments that I wrote down for you to answer if you have a few minutes. Are you in a hurry?
no.
Okay. All right. So I forgot to say at the beginning of this call, y'all, Phallin is one of the top 10 diamonds in terms of point earners. She's one of the top 10 in the company. And as you can see, it did not come easy to her. Like, she's been through a lot of adversity. She's been through some really tough times in her business. She wasn't really a fast starter, definitely a strong finisher, right? But like, you can see her grit and her tenacity and her determination. One of the things you said, Phallin, at the beginning, you said, I feel like I'm very normal. Like, there's nothing about me that's not normal. And I'm thinking, well, I beg to differ. There's a lot of things about you that are not normal, but the biggest one is your audacity to dream big. Like, you never accepted the status quo. You never accepted your life and just thought, well, this is how things are just going to be. This is what's in the cards for me. Like, you always had such extremely high vision and belief that you could accomplish whatever you wanted to accomplish, even when you didn't see the results. You knew it was going to happen. You didn't always know how, but you knew that it would. It was like nothing would hurt your belief. So, and then you also said you're still the same Phallin as you was all those years ago. And I'm like, also beg to differ. Not the same Phallin, not the same. And I would say the biggest thing that's different is your attitude. Like, when I met you, before you read all those books, which, by the way, one of those questions in the chat was, what were the, like, relist those 5 books that you mentioned again. But it, like, you did like, you definitely had high vision and belief, but you struggled with your attitude. Like, a lot of times you would tend to see the negative or whatever. And now you choose not to do that. And you are going to look on the positive side of things and just believe that things can be different. Remember that time we did like a lot of things in the beginning that people, I feel like, nowadays just would not be willing to do, but we did a lot of those. Remember, we did several events nobody showed up to. One time we went like literally door to door handing out flyers in the rain. One time we drove around town going into different businesses and just inviting people to our events. Remember that spa we went to? And that lady was like, oh, I'm never doing network marketing again. I know what all that is about. Like, she was kind of rude to us. Remember that time you went to Michigan and you had mailed out like 100 postcards and you went all the way to Michigan to do this event. And then I don't think anybody came. Maybe one person came. Do you remember that? And you just kept going. It's like, none of these things hurt your belief. Like, you just, in your mind, you knew it was going to happen and you just were not going to stop until it did. I mean, all of these things are not normal. I'm just going to say.
Let me just say the one thing that's the most abnormal thing we almost did. I was trying to convince Brittany to put a wig on, and we were going to go into McDonald's and fake a conversation about plexus. Oh my gosh, you've lost how much weight? What is that you said you're taking again? Hoping the people in line might want to, what is that you're talking about? And I was serious. Thank God I started having some success. I didn't have to get that desperate, but I was literally about to walk out that door and go do that. I was going to make this happen.
True story. And also, one thing you said when you said, like, you know, the first couple years were like a real struggle for you. Lori Welch told you to read all those books, and then suddenly, like, a whole lot of things clicked, and you're just like, well, I don't really know what changed, but suddenly I just started climbing through the ranks all of a sudden. And I will say a lot of things changed. First thing that changed was your attitude, and that was so obvious. Like, I could literally hear the changes in your voice, in your tone, in your attitude, in your mindset. Like, when because we still talk all the time. By the way, y'all, did y'all hear what she said about me quitting on her? And then the whole entire time, like, she never acted like she was mad about it. She never acted bitter about it or resentful about it. Like, she didn't skip a beat being my friend. We still talked every day. And she just kept planting seeds. So I thought that was very interesting, because some people would just take it so personal that somebody quit on them, especially their primary leg, right? You did not take it personal. And then when you started reading all those books and everything, I think another thing that changed was you really started caring about your team. Like, you became a leader. It was no longer just about like you and what you could accomplish, because you are by nature very competitive, but you started reaching down and like really legitimately caring about your team and helping them be successful. So that was a huge switch. Okay. Here's some questions. Anything to add to that before I start jumping in these questions? Okay. So what would you say the most important steps are for someone who is brand new?
Well, I think making a list of all the people that you want to talk to or share to is really important, and then classifying them. Do you want to reach out about the business or about the products? So knowing what you're going to reach out about. I love to reach out about the business. Like, that is my thing. That's why I joined. So that's what speaks to me. But also posting on social media, just getting started, committing to working consistently, doing your IPA, and setting office hours. So I'm assuming if you're already starting, you have a strong why. Your why needs to get you out of bed. It needs to get you through the hard times, all of those things that we have hopefully heard from day one. And then immediately following the why, your office hours. You have to treat this seriously, because life happens and a week goes by and you feel like you've been doing Plexus for a month, but you haven't really done anything. So being intentional with your time and your office hours, especially on social media, because I think that's how 95% of us have grown, is just having a social media presence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great tips. Oh, another thing you said that I thought was so powerful was about listening to the Eric Worre testimonies about network marketing. And that's probably why your belief and your vision has always been just so through the roof, like unshakable belief, because you just knew that it could happen and you knew you were not going to stop until it did happen. So I loved that. Okay. What were the 5 books you mentioned?
It might be 4. Y'all, I can't think and count and do all that all at once. So let's see. How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is the order that I read them in. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. 15 Laws of Growth, Invaluable Growth by John Maxwell. Switch on Your Brain by Dr. Caroline Leaf. And I guess it's 4, Magic of Thinking Big.
Yes. Okay. How did you share the business opportunity with people during those 2 years that you felt challenged ranking up?
Well, when they would ask me how much money I was making, I would say, you don't want to know about me. Kristen Abart over here, she's making $10,000 a month. And then that would blow their mind and they wouldn't talk about me anymore. That's how I got Tiffany working. I just didn't worry about where I was, because if someone came up to me and said that they were making $300 a month, would I want to do it? I'd be like, heck no, my time is valuable. I'd rather cut some pennies here or there, eat less food, I don't know, than try to make $300. Like, it wasn't worth it to me. So I just focused on what other people were making, and I would literally point to them. Hey, this is what you can do. This is what you can do. Even when they would ask me what I was doing, I would literally say, you don't want to know about me. This is where I'm headed.
Yeah. And you did that with me in the beginning too, because we started around the same time. I mean, I joined for the business maybe like a couple months after you did. And one of the ways you got me was you showed, this is back when we got paper checks in the mail, y'all, but you showed me Sonia Dudley's paycheck stub. It wasn't about you. You were just like, this is where I'm headed. I'm going to do, this is what she's earning. I'm planning to do the same thing. You can totally do that too. And you 100% believed it. Like, there was no trepidation in your voice. You really believed it. Okay. What did you say to people about joining you when you first started seeing your business grow? And would you say the same thing today?
What was that first part?
What did you say to people about joining you when you first started seeing your business grow? And would you say the same thing today?
I mean, it was different for everybody, but I very much made it about them. So when they showed me like, oh, I'm doing this little hobby to make a couple extra $100, I'm like, girl, you spend that time doing plexus, you're gonna be making quadruple that. Why are you over here wasting your time trying to start a blog, trying to sell things on eBay, trying to start a little mom and pop store? Why aren't you doing this? This is going to pay way better and you're going to get residual income. You don't have to do all of that. So I would look at what they were doing and I would say, you could do this. And it wasn't even people who were trying to start a business. I remember Cody Helmer, she was in a mom's group and she's like, I just want to be able to share this with some people. I'm like, are you thinking about the business? And she said, no. And I was like, well, you should. You got 80 moms in one group. If you sell all those moms plexus, you know how much money you would make. And then if they go and share with all their people, I mean, that's literally what I said to someone. If they're like, no, I'm not thinking about doing this, then I would just say, well, you should. And I kind of, Lori Welch always had this mentality of, if they're not doing this, then they're stupid. Like, why wouldn't they do it? So I guess I kind of caught that from her. Like, the heck you mean you're trying to redo furniture? You ain't gonna make any money doing that. You need to do this. And I would tell that to my sister over and over and over again. Now I see her today. She's trying to do more furniture, but she's an emerald, almost sapphire. So she's got hobby time.
I love that. So Kayleen Yoder, she's a pastor's wife, and that is exactly what she was doing before Plexus. And she will tell you firsthand that yes, she makes way more money with Plexus with way less work and way less heartache than she did finishing furniture. Okay, what did a day of work look like for you when you were first building? It's a great question.
I remember I was going to post a video on the team page and Brittany's like, don't show nobody that video. You're going to scare everybody. Nobody's going to want to do plexus. But my laundry was still in piles on the floor. This is when we were in intense momentum. Obviously, we were ranking I almost double ranked Ruby to senior Ruby in 1 month. So I was going back to back. And actually my life probably looked a lot like it does right now because I still got piles of laundry in my living room that need to be folded. So my life, I would wake up in the morning and I would do a little bit of brainless task. I don't drink coffee, but I need a minute to wake up. So that's when I would just respond to whoever I wanted or comment or do some easy mindless brainless things. And then when I got my kids down for naps, so from 1 to 3, then I would work my business. And that was when I had to do whatever required focusing. I hated posting. So I would have to think about what I was going to say and I'd have to take a picture. I had to get some makeup on. Like, I hated it. So I would do that thing first because you're going to get the dopamine by doing the part that you like if you do that afterwards. So do the task you don't like first. And so after that, then I would start getting messages, usually from my post. So I would start sending people information. I would send out samples. I would do my follow-ups. I'd sign people up. I would get on the phone. And then when it was getting close to the time when my kids would wake up, so around 3, I would start reading because when they woke up from their naps, they like to cuddle. So I was like, okay, I can read. I'd be reading The Magic of Thinking Big, and they would be all slowly waking up from their naps and coming to sit by me. And then at 3:30, closed the book, done, and it was time to make Brittany dinner. And Brittany was always the one that'd call me during dinner time. So I would do some coaching calls while I made dinner, and my kids were always outside playing until dinner. So they were throwing dirt and sand and whatever, and I'd be doing my calls. And then dinner time was just with my family, bath time, bedtime for the kids. And then after they went to bed, then I would do some more work. So when they went to bed, I would work for an hour or 2 after that. So I had 4 hours of dedicated work time, and then just whatever came at me in between.
Okay, awesome. Love it. All right, well, that leads us to the next question then. What are your time management tips for people with demanding day jobs? Usually 10 hours during the day plus time on weekends.
So I had a graphic that someone in another network marketing company, I need to find it again, but she had made a pie chart. Like if you work a full-time job, plus you come home and you do the dinner, you do the sports, and it showed like how many hours were left over. And that's enough to grow a business in. So I would look at your day and see, where are you wasting time? When do you have downtime? And I think it's going to look different for everyone. If you can get a lot done and be really intentional with your time, if you have 2 hours to work, you can get a lot done in 2 hours. You just have to be smart and be like, here's my list of everything I'm going to do. I already have my list made out, who I'm going to contact, who I'm going to follow up with. I already know the topic I'm going to post about. Also, when you have, you go to work, that would be maybe your time that you take your pictures. Like you're all ready for the day. I told my husband and I'm like, I need to take a picture. I had makeup on for the first time all week. I need to take a picture. So we would block things like, got makeup on, I'm going to take a couple videos today or whatever. So try to group things together. When you're driving to work, that's a great time to either do coaching calls or listen to something. Don't get in your car and turn on the music. That is not going to grow your business. Get in the car and get some Eric Worre CDs off of eBay or whatever. Listen to a training, listen to a recording, or do a coaching call. Same with doing laundry while you're cooking dinner. There's so many things that you can do while your kids are doing homework. You just have to be intentional with your time. And then instead of watching gosh, who was it? A Diamond recently said that they grew their business just by turning off the TV. They literally just stopped watching TV. They had a full-time job and they just stopped watching TV, and they used that time to grow their business. So look at where you have little blocks of time. Be super mindful during the week, what's going on and what you're doing, when and where, and you'll find the time.
Did you ever feel tired or burn out?
Well, I didn't realize how tired I was until I got remarried, and suddenly I just feels real good to sleep. And I think it finally caught up to me, just being a single mom and running a business for so many years.
But at that point, you had been a Diamond for years.
Yeah, I've been
Long time.
like 7 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but no, I was too excited. So I didn't feel stressed, but I would run on adrenaline a lot. I definitely felt adrenaline rush often.
Yeah, I think that's because your belief was so high. Like you knew exactly where you were headed.
So no, I definitely didn't have burnout. There maybe for, like I said, an hour, and then I put my phone away and I'm right back at it. Like I can't stop, won't stop, don't want to stop. Like there was nothing in me that felt drained or I'm burnt out or I'm dragging, because it's that gratitude. Gratitude is what's going to prevent that. I had a responsibility to my people, to Brittany. Brittany had goals. If Brittany has goals, how can I be tired? It's not about me anymore. It's about her. So they're kind of like my little plexus children, like you are with your kids. Even if you're sick and tired, you still got to take care of baby. It's kind of like that. Like I didn't feel any negative emotions because I was so excited for them and where we are all going.
Mm-hmm. And I think that comes from your belief. All right. How did you attract the top leaders who took your business to Diamond in 9 months?
Excitement. Like I tell you what, you could convince anybody the sky is whatever color you want, like a permanent rainbow in the sky. If you believe it hard enough and you are passionate about what you are saying, you could convince somebody of anything. You just have to be excited. I mean, if I could give you one tip, you don't throw out any training, anything and everything, and just be excited. If you're excited, you will figure out how to get it done. You will have the conversations with people because you are excited. And that goes back to the belief. If you believe in what you have, you're not going to shut up about it, no matter who's listening.
100%. Yep. Totally agree. Okay. So last question, and I'm going to let you go. So when we were at convention and I got off of the stage because I was a trainer, I come down and Lori Welch was down there. And she was like, Brittany, I'm so proud of you. And then she goes, do you know how difficult you were in the beginning? You were so difficult. And I was like, I know, I'm so sorry. I really was. So anyways, just for my team's benefit, because they see what I'm like now, could you please tell them in the beginning some of the difficult and challenging things that I did that just kind of made your job as a leader less than fun sometimes? You can tell them whatever, open book.
Gosh, you should have told me this question beforehand. I could have made a list, but let's see what comes to the top of my head. Y'all already know this about Brittany. Like, your strengths can also be your weaknesses. She had so many questions that could be perceived as negative. Like, oh, why isn't this working? Or just product questions all the time. Like doubts and this and doubts and that. So it was a lot of questions. She had a lot of questions. And Lori would get annoyed with us and all of our questions, but she put me up to it. She probably got me kicked out of those team pages with all the questions. I'm thinking about that now. I bet it was her. It wasn't me. I was an angel. No, she just had questions, and she would ask, is it worth it? She would ask that. Another question. She would ask a lot. And once I would tell her the answer, she might come back in a month or two and ask the same question, but she would be good. She would be good with the answer that I gave her. Yes, it's worth it. Yes, you're doing a great job. I can't think of any other than that. I throw away
my skepticism, that was difficult for you. Well, listen, I never had a clue that was difficult for you. I'm just going to say, this is why I feel passionate about taking the time to handle people's objections, because I did want my objections handled. Yes, I had a lot of them. Because I think, like, I'm not going to just like accept something at face value just because somebody said that or believed it, right? And you're the same way, pal. But you were so patient with me. You might have been annoyed, but if you were, you got all that out before you responded to my messages, because I never sensed that you were annoyed by my questions or my objections or my skepticism or whatever.
Well, girl, you had questions and I was confident I had answers. So I was okay with your questions. I just keep on answering them.
Well, I appreciate you doing that. Was I always coachable?
Is there a right or wrong answer?
No, I am genuinely curious.
Yeah, I feel like you were coachable. You would sit and you would think, and you were coachable. And if you weren't willing to do what I told you, you would tell me. Oh, well, I found I don't want to do that. Like, my husband wants me home at such and such a time and off the phone at such and such a time. And okay, that's how Brittany is. I don't call her after team calls. I'll call somebody else. Like, it was okay. You were coachable.
Okay. I feel like there were some times when maybe I wasn't, because I have strong opinions like you do. So I didn't know if maybe that was difficult for you at times. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know what it was like to lead me. I just know that sometimes people think that the way I am now was the way I was then. And I just don't think that was the case. For Lori to say that, for her to say that to me after I get off the stage, I'm just like, I need you to come tell my team like what I was. I just don't want people to give up on difficult people just because they're difficult, because I know I just wasn't always the easiest to lead. I feel like the strong ones are not always the easiest to lead. We're not always going to agree on every single thing. We have different opinions.
Well, I mean, probably as a Jewel, you're a little bit more difficult. I'm thinking of Brittany as a gold, or when Lori would think of you as difficult. You're a little more difficult as time got on. But then it got okay. You became a diamond, and then you were an adult, and then it wasn't difficult no more.
An adult.
You had your little teenage phase. But again, here's the thing. Like, if you were coming to me and you were being difficult, I didn't think it was you. I thought it was me. Maybe I needed some sleep, or maybe I was starting my period, or something was going on that made me moody. Because
you're glitching.
we had a couple arguments, and I said something that probably should have been glitched.
I heard you say argument, so it's probably juicy stuff, and it was the Holy Spirit making making that not be on here. What were you saying about arguments?
We had arguments. I don't remember what it was about. Because seriously, like if there's a dispute with my downline, I take full ownership. What can I do better? What am I not conveying to this person? Like, why does she not understand what I'm saying? And I put that on me. How can I explain something better? It wasn't, oh, Brittany's so difficult. Although Lori said that I was negative, and then Brittany and I were like, oh, we're not negative. It was like a we. She said I'm negative. And like we go back and forth that we weren't negative. We just have questions.
We're realists. Isn't that what the negative people say? I'm not negative, I'm just a realist.
Yeah, that was us.
Okay. Well, that's so fun. So fun to reminisce about all the beginnings. Thank you, Phallin, for coming on here tonight. Your story is very powerful. You're super inspiring. Everything about you, your intelligence, your grit, your drive, your belief. So thank you. I appreciate it a ton. And everybody, chat's blowed up. Everybody obviously loved it. So appreciate you.
I'm thankful for you, girl.
All righty.
And
Y'all have a
team.
good
I
night.
love you guys.
Love you too. Bye.
Good night. Bye.